Oh.
Petunia was just telling me a hilarious show. You want something else?
And we are your hosts. My name is Petunia Peppercorn, and this is Nora Nottingham.
Hello. You've joined us on Tea Time today for one of our favourite segments in which we count down the top 20 Victorian poets. You have joined us just in time for number 4.
At number 4, we have Lord Alfred Tennyson, writer of Lady of Shalott, Ulysses, and Miriam.
Yes. Lady of Shalott is one of my favourite poems.
Oh yes, he loved those old medieval legends along with classical mythology themes. Yes, you know, something that most people don't know about him is that Queen Victoria herself loved his poetry. A great admirer, actually.
She was not.
Oh yes, anyways, something weird about him though is that he wanted his readers to indulge in their self-melancholy. Yes, very depressing.
That is rather depressing.
Yes, we have a picture. Anyways, he was also a perfectionist, revised his poetry and manuscripts multiple times.
Sounds like you, Petunia.
Yes.
And now to number 3.
Yes.
Number 3 on our list is Robert Browning himself.
Ooh.
Author of Porphyria's Lover and
yes.
My Last Duchess.
Oh, yes.
Let's go back to Porphyria's Lover for a minute.
Shall we?
That is a rather crazy poem.
It is. He doesn't even accurately describe his lover's hair color. He calls it yellow when it's simply blonde.
And he uses her hair to strangle her to death.
Oh, awful.
His themes are wide range from
yes.
ideas of psychopath to sophisticated.
Yes, like in My Lost Duchess. He was very sophisticated, very different from Porphyria's Lover.
Yes, it's very interesting, but something that is rather reoccurring in his poetry is death.
Yes, seems like a rather interesting theme.
We actually have a picture of him.
Yes.
I'm sexy and I know it.
You know, I have a little dirt on Mr. Browning himself.
Oh, you do?
You know his wife?
Oh, yes, Elizabeth Bennet.
Oh, no, Elizabeth Barrett.
Oh, yes, Pride and Prejudice. Yes, I know of her.
She is 6 years older than him.
Oh, what? Welcome back. We are currently at number 2 with Matthew Arnold, who wrote Dover Beach. Very good poem. He was very critical of many things. However, he couldn't really make up his mind because he was between romanticism yet modernism, which is quite a weird thing.
Interesting combo.
Yes, his symbolic landscapes, you know, that appear in a lot of his poetry, including Dover Beach, is very, you know, romantic. However, he was very skeptical and often quite pessimistic, which is very modernism of the time. Something interesting is his death. He died while running to a tram.
That is
his heart gave out right as he was running towards the tram.
I will never run to a tram.
Yes, neither shall I. And before we go to number 1,
I can't wait to find out who it is.
We have a picture.
And finally, the time you've been waiting for, number 1. He is here with us today himself. It is Mr. A.E. Housman, the writer of Athlete Dying Young and When I Have Fears That Cease to Be. Mr. Housman, could you please tell us about some of the themes in your poetry?
Some of the themes in my poetry include time, the enemy of death, youth in war. It's a very noble cause. Youth in war is very close to my heart.
Is it true that you believe God, who created the earth, abandoned us?
True.
Anyways, to the more interesting details, tell us about Moses Jackson. It is rumored that you had a love for Moses Jackson.
I can love whoever I want to love.
Alright, and is it... One more question for you, Mr. Housman. Is it true that you went to France to read some illegal pornographic books?
Yes, this is true.
Alright, thank you so much for joining us today, Mr. Hausman.
Thank you.
Oh, okay.
And that concludes our segment with the top 20 Victorian poets of the 1800s.
Seemed that rather a lot of them had a reoccurring theme of death throughout it.
Yes, it's
Rather morbid.
Yes,
Huh?
I quite agree. Yes.
Well, thank you all for joining us.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Hausman, for that delightful interview.
Oh yes, once again, I am Petunia Peppercorn, and she is Nora Nottingham.
Some of the themes that we see in your poetry.
Some of the themes you see in...
And himself. And he is here with us today. What is wrong?
I can't do it! It's Johnny! Okay.
And Mr. Hausman, can you tell us about the themes in your poetry?
Some of the themes in my poetry include...
Some of the themes in my
punch in the face! I'm gonna punch you in the face! Alright,
Okay, here we go.
something like that.
Okay.
Oh.